this is Cindy at cindybdesigns.com. This is what we'll be making today. I saw this over Jamie's blog. I'll have a link to it, and I thought, ooh, I gotta make that. It is very cool. I'm mixing up my metallics here, and I'm also mixing up the neutrals a little bit. A lot of us think I'm just rambling on and going through everything that you're going to need to make this, but the supply list will be over on the blog and underneath the YouTube description. But a lot of us think it's really taboo to mix up cream and white, and it's really not. And I actually did that in my house this time around, and it's working out. So her card just got me thinking, it's like, I need to do this. So we have a top folding A2 card. That's a 4.5 by 11 scored at, 4.25 by 11 scored at 5.5. Now, we have a piece of foil paper here, and that is cut down to 4 by 5.25. Now, what I want to do is I just want the frame part around it. I don't want to use that entire piece of foil paper because you only get 2 to a path as a mat. So you cheat and you put in it at the trimmer there. You have your measurements to the side like that. Take it over 1/2 inch on the right. Use the bar on the left. Start at the 1/2 inch. And then pull it down and end at the 1/2 inch. Now what you got to pay attention to is this is what side you're cutting on. Because if you're cutting on the 4-inch side, you know, that's easy enough, you're 1/2 inch in. But when you go down on that bar there, that was the 4-inch side obviously, and I just did the 5.25 inch side. And that's where you have to keep in your mind. It's like, okay, where's my math end up on this ruler here on the paper trimmer? I hope that made sense. So we have the Whisper White, that is silver foil paper. Cut it out, you know, save your paper there. That is another piece of white cardstock that we're cutting down to 3 7/8 by, it looks like 5 1/8. This piece of paper that you cut off here, you want to save that. You need to heat emboss your sentiment on that. And this is where I mess up my card. That very vanilla, that color, that piece of cardstock should have gone on top of the silver foil. And I didn't fix it in my my end cards or anything like that, because I just didn't do it. I have like a little creative burnout right now, and it happens. That's why I had to case Jamie and add a few things to it. So again, I'll have all the measurements and everything like that over on my blog, which will be linked in the description below. I am putting on snail very close to the edges so I can put that on. I don't like using liquid adhesive on foil paper because if you smudge it, it dulls the foil paper. And I even have alcohol wipes I use to try and wipe the glue off of it to bring the shine back. It just kills it even more, so I wing it that way. This is where I'm putting down the entire panel, and where the foil paper meets the cardstock, you want to put adhesive over that part, and you'll be okay. So we are going to lay that on top, and you want to get it even, top to bottom, left to right. Again, very vanilla should be on top of that, not Whisper White. And that should be Whisper White. So we are going to pull in our final panel here. Use your embossing buddy. I forgot to include that on the supply list, but you got it. You must have that, or else you're going to have a hot mess powder everywhere. I'm inking up the wreath image from Making Christmas Bright in Versamark. You're not going to be able to see it, so I'm laying that down. I can kind of see the shadows. I'm doing the voiceover a bit. Who knows? So I'm tilting my head way to the right, trying to figure out where to place that, hoping for the best. I'm going to pull in my embossing powder, and I am just going to layer it on and then tap it off. If you have any excess or anything like that, just grab a paintbrush, wipe it off your cardstock, and you are going to be good to go. I'm going to be bringing in the heat tool. You want to put it on setting 2 for heat embossing. Let it warm up real well, and we're going to go ahead and get this melted. So I have our image panel embossed. I like to have a Swiffer on hand, and that removes any powder, and if you're using colored cardstock or anything, it helps take off that white embossing powder. I'm putting 2 Stampin' Dimensionals on the back of our sentiment there. It only needs 2. I found that if you really overcrowd with adhesive, and I'm the adhesive queen, it really trashes your cardstock. I have gold glimmer paper. I am punching 3 of the light bulbs out for the front of our card. And if you get a bottom part of the bulb, I just toss it into a bin and it'll turn up on something somewhere. For the tops, and this is where I'm mixing up my metallics. That is silver foil paper. And again, I'm rotating just like I did yesterday to get the most out of it. And we're going to put it together, adhere the tops to the top of the bulb the exact same way that we did yesterday. So we are going to put the silver foil with the white end face, you want the glue dot down towards that end on all 3. We're going to take that off with our tool. We're going to pop it on top. I'm waiting for myself to hurry up here. Okay, there we go. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and get all 3 of those on. And the next part comes relatively quick. It's just mainly adhering from here on out and a little bit more heat embossing. Now, when you turn it over, you want to grab your string. And there's always going to be part of the glue dot left over. On one of them, the top one, I had to put some more adhesive down because I did a really good job getting it down the first time. So you want to grab just some twine. That is out of a paper pumpkin kit, and that's why I keep those on board. And you want to put the string in the middle, the twine, in the middle on top of the glue dot. And so you don't have to watch all of this, and this is where I cheat. Right where the twine and the top of the bulb go onto the main part of the bulb, you want a mini dimensional there, again, just like yesterday. And in the center of the bulb, you want to put a standard size one. So I'm going to get all that done, take care of business, and we'll be back to finish this up. I have all that adhesive down. So what I'm doing now is just putting a thin line of snail on the back, because I'm going to be peeling off the backs to those dimensionals, and I'm going to adhere it to the card. You want to start, or your image panel, you want to start with the middle bulb, and I always say this, you wing it from there, because that's where you're going to figure out how to stagger the other ones on the left and the right. flip it over, adhere it to the back, and then trim off the excess. And you want to arrange them kind of, again, that eye candy part, the optics, to where it's kind of a very geographical card a little bit too. Not geographical, geometrical. With you have the circles and different shapes, and you want to arrange everything in there that way and just make it look nice. And there we go. Now we are going to get some dimension on the back of this. On the back, I have Stampin' Dimensionals in my hands right now. And on the sides of them, you see me pulling off what we call the bones of the pack. They come in very handy, and you never want to toss them out. I am using that to really help get that twine secure down, because there is some bulk on the front. You know, there's other dimensionals and whatnot. And I'm cutting more for the bottom, because if I have a line all the way across the top, you want one all the way across the bottom for that balance. And I'm throwing a few in the center too. It's kind of like, remember laying in the middle of a waterbed and all the water comes slushing up around you? And I just so aged myself. But for the rest of you, Google it. Anyhow, that was fun. I am peeling off the back of my dimensionals now, and I'm going to tell you what order the cardstock and everything really should be in. The middle layer of, because I'm adding the top layer to it, we got the card base and then that middle panel on top of the foil paper. And then now we're putting the very vanilla on top of the white, when it really should be the very vanilla underneath. So you want that middle panel the exact same color as the sentiment strip, which I just laid down, and the same color as the bulbs too. But that's if you don't use glimmer paper, and that's how I changed mine up from Jamie's. So thank you so much for watching. I will see you the next time. Please hit like, subscribe. God bless, take care, and have a great day.